But from where I sit as a gay man making an observation, it looks and feels like in order for trans women to feel whole, for them to feel whole, that they need to be all up and through the women's things. I don't want a trans league. I don't want a trans bathroom. I don't want a trans dressing room. I'm a woman. And in order for me to feel like a woman, I want to go in the same dressing room as these women over here. And I want to go because that's what I need in order to feel whole. The only thing that I think is bothering a lot of people with that way of thinking is while I understand y'all over here feel like women, y'all over here were born in the wrong body, y'all over here, while y'all got all that going on, and I sympathize with you for wanting to feel like a woman, but we over here, we don't feel like y'all women, not like us, and we don't want y'all over here. I'm sorry. I really think that's where a lot of the disconnect is coming from. I feel bad that you feel like you was born in the wrong body.
The thing is, man, we need more feminists speaking up about this because I tell you this, there's a lot of women that are uncomfortable when a trans woman comes into the bathroom. But it's hard to speak about it. It's hard to say, you don't like it because, people are going to take it the wrong way. There's a lot of women that do not want a trans woman in their restroom with them. They don't feel safe. That is still a man. That is still a man that is stronger than a woman that can do anything that they want to that woman if they choose to. I definitely believe if you're a trans woman, you deserve the same respect as everybody else. But I don't believe that you should be in a women's restroom. You are a man. I believe if we go and give you a separate restroom, I believe that's good for everybody. It's all about safety. It's all about making sure our kids understand what's what. I believe that if a trans woman goes into a woman's bathroom and my little girls are in there, they'll be confused and they will be scared. So it's sending the wrong message. We're not saying that trans people are bad people. No, we're not saying that at all. But they should not be in the women's restroom. But we need a lot of feminists. We need a lot of women speaking out about this. Just like the black woman that had the issue at Gold's Gym. People need to start listening to that because that woman is a lesbian. So she's not transphobic. She's not, homophobic. Right is right, wrong is wrong. See what I'm saying? Women fight for so much. Women say they want independence, but I don't hear a lot of women speaking up about this. I don't hear a lot of women say that is wrong. Women, you want your own space. You want to have your own. You want to be independent and strong. But why is there not enough women speaking up about this and telling the world how you feel? Right is right, wrong is wrong. Yes, a man like me, people may say, oh, he's transphobic. I am not. I still respect that person. I still believe that person has rights. I still believe that person should not be hated upon or harmed because they are trans at all. Don't believe that. They should not be harmed or anything. But women need to speak up. This is a time where women need to speak up about this because a lot of women don't speak up. The time that we need the women to speak up and tell America how you feel about this, it's quiet. You hear a lot of men talking about this, and then a lot of people want to call the men transphobic, which we're not. We care for our women. We are trying to protect our women, but this is a time where we need the women to speak up. This is the time where the women need to tell everybody in America, I am not comfortable and I fear for my safety. But you have to speak up, women. This is the time where you can use your voice and your power, but you guys choose not to. That's what I don't like. You will say it behind closed doors. You will feel uncomfortable in the restroom. You won't say anything to nobody, but you will talk behind closed doors so nobody won't judge you. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Do not be fearful to tell the people in office that, hey, we don't feel safe. Because if you say that, then they have no choice but to listen. It's different when it's coming from a man like me or a man like this gentleman talking and saying it. But women need to speak up. You guys fight for your rights. You guys fight for your independence. You guys fight for money. You guys fight for all these things, but you're not fighting for your safety. That's what's getting me upset because you guys don't like this. You guys don't want to be in this position. You feel uncomfortable. At the end of the day, that is still a man in your private space. Say something. Why aren't you speaking up? Trans women have rights. Trans women are people. You do not hurt them. You do not hate them. You do not treat them any different, but you do not allow them in the women's bathroom because they are not a woman. Women need to speak up. So if I'm mad, I'm not mad at the trans because they're just going with the flow and letting it happen. People are saying nothing. But this is the time that women need to speak up. This is the time where you use your feminists and all these things that all these human women rights you want. This is the time where you have to start saying something because you're not saying anything. But then everybody's looking at that woman that happened in Gold's Gym and they think she's crazy, but she has a valid point because a lot of you guys are agreeing with her behind closed doors. It's time to open up the door and tell America how you feel about this. Because the only people that can really make changes to this are women. So this is your time to shine, woman. This is your time to step up to the plate and say, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe. Because you don't. You say behind closed doors, you feel a certain type of way. You don't even go to the bathroom sometimes because you don't feel safe. So once you say something, the men, we can only say so much, but we're going to get so much hate. But you have to say something. You have to get up and say, you fight for, you guys want to be feminists. You guys want to be independent. You guys want these rights. You guys want all these things. But the time when it comes to your safety, you're silent. That's what I don't like.
But the fact still remains is you have a penis and you are a man, and I know you want to feel like a woman, but you're going to need to go find a way to feel like a woman somewhere else that doesn't impact me. And I'm speaking as women if I can. I think that that's a lot of people's attitude. I don't give a damn that you feel like a woman. From where I sit, you as a man, and you can't come over here in our space. I think that is what's going on. It's honest. It's fair. I'm not trying to be rude. And again, this stuff is new. We got to find where the medium is because I don't want trans people to go their entire lives not feeling whole and not feeling complete. But on the flip side of things, if we keep it in a buck and if we're being honest, you don't just get to come over here and infringe on what we got going on over here because you need to feel like a woman. You didn't even ask us. You didn't even ask us if we were okay with this because for so long we had this sisterhood over here of just titties and vaginas, and we like it that way. We like it that way. Y'all cool and all, but why is it that in order for you to feel complete, I have to feel like something's being taken away from me? Why is it that in order for you to feel whole, for you to feel like a woman, I now have to feel uncomfortable as a woman? And I'm not saying that's everybody's position, but then now it brings me to this next story.
You got to understand, the only people that can make a change are women. This is your time to shine. This is your time to speak up for your rights. America is waiting for you guys to really come out and say how you really feel about this. Because you know what? I made a comment, I made another video about this, same type of situation that happened in Georgia. And I said this, there's not a lot of women that want to be a trans man going into the man's restroom. They still go to the woman's restroom. And a guy replied back. I said, so why is that not a big deal? He explained it perfectly. He said, because if a woman dresses up as a man and comes into our restroom, she is not a threat to us. She can't do anything to us. So it wouldn't be a big deal to us because we know she's not a threat. But if a man dresses up like a woman and goes to a woman's bathroom, that trans woman is a threat to the women that are in there. He's stronger, he's bigger, he can do more damage. He can actually beat up a woman in the restroom. Made total sense. We don't hear the stories because there aren't any stories of a trans man going into the man's restroom. It doesn't happen. They don't even feel comfortable going into a man's restroom. Let's make it make sense. So women need to speak up. You're too silent about this. You're very silent, and it's crazy because you guys behind closed doors are saying you guys are uncomfortable. How are you going to make a change if you don't say anything? How are you going to make a change if you don't stand up? You're silent on this issue, and it's ridiculous. You complain about everything else that's going on in the world. You complain about opportunity. You complain about this. You complain about this, but you're not complaining about the things that has to do with your safety. Irritating, irresponsible. Step up, women. This is your time to talk your shit and be on your shit and stand on business, because you know why? America is listening. You're not saying anything. Doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. It's about your safety. America's waiting to hear from women and say, what's your thoughts on this? A man can say it till he's blue in the face, but America's not going to listen. Some of America will call you transphobic. Some of America will say, oh, you don't like trans, all of this. But they won't say that to a woman. America's waiting for the women to stand up and say, this is not right. This is not, we do not want this. You guys are so territorial over your space, but when your space is getting encroached on by another man that's dressed up as a woman, you're not saying anything. Why is that? Would it be different if it's just a regular man going to your restroom? Would you say something then? Stand up for what you want. If you want, this is your time to be independent. This is your time to say, I don't need a man. I'm speaking up for my own rights. You want the men to speak up for you, but you don't want to speak up for it. I have not seen a lot of women talk about this. I have not seen a lot of women talk about this on social media. It's quiet. It's too quiet. It's crazy quiet. Where are the real women that are going to speak up for their rights? Where are the real women that's going to come there and say, this is not right? Where are they? They're nowhere to be found. Quiet as a mouse, but you have one man, you have another man, you have other men saying this is not right. But where are the women? Where are the women that's going to say, this is not right. We don't want this. If they have transgenders people, they're still people. You care for them, you love them, you treat them right. They don't deserve to be treated any differently. You give them their own. Trans leagues, trans bathroom. Now they have a section for themselves so they won't feel out of place. I agree with that. If that's what you want, we need to give that to them to make them feel comfortable. 100% agree with that. But I do not believe that they should be mixing in with women, because you don't have the trans men trying to get with the men because they can't do it. You have men dressed up as women that's trying to play sports with other women so they can win because they can't survive with the men. This trans stuff is deep, but it should not encroach upon our women and our little girls. It shouldn't. It should not be that way. But we need the women to speak up. You guys are too quiet. You guys not saying anything. You guys are not going to bat for your own rights. And this is why you have feminism. This is why you are feminist. This is why you want your own. This is why you're independent. This is your time to shine. Nobody's not going to say anything. Best believe you have a lot of supporters behind you. If you want support that you never feel like you had before, speak up about this issue. You will have overwhelming support. You'll be able to give whatever you want because we'll be behind you. This will be the first time the men will really be pushing the women. We're behind you and we stand for you. But it starts with you, women. You talk about everything else. You talk about what men ain't. We don't need a man. We talk about all these things about men. I don't need them. Well, why aren't you speaking up about the trans issue? Why aren't you speaking up? You talk about your pay is different. I'm not getting paid like him. I can't get a job. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to be an independent woman. But you ain't talking about this issue. You're talking about everything around it but the point. Get to the point. So I'm challenging all the women that's watching this. Do something. Say something. Speak up. Use your voice. Use your power, because you're the only one that can make this happen.